Hello everybody, this is my eyebrow tutorial. So before I get started on filling in my eyebrows, I'm going to list some products that I actually use in my eyebrows instead of just holding them up while I'm using it, like filling it in. So I actually use the Anastasia Dipbrow pomade in deep brown. It works pretty good for me. It was a gift a couple years ago. I actually didn't like it to begin with, but once I started playing around with it, I figured out how to use it, and now it's like my favorite eyebrow thing. They got this BH Studio Pro Ultimate Brow Palette, and let me open it up real quick and show you what the inside looks like. Alright, try to get a good view. Alright, that's the inside of it. It is got four like waxes and 8 powders. I tend to stick towards this these two right here, the darker 2 colors right there. Them are the ones I use the most in my eyebrows on top of the pomade. And then I'll go in with this, you really can't see the label, but it's the Covergirl Sculpt and Define Brow. I also wanted to take a quick second to explain another product that is good if you don't want to use that eyebrow pencil. This is the Goof Proof Brow Pencil in number 5. It comes with the pencil come out on this side. There's just absolutely none left in there, and then it comes with a spoolie on the other side, which is very helpful. 2 tools in one. Great product. This is on the more expensive side. There are other ones out in the market. I really tried it too. One's by Absolute New York, that one, but I used it in black. That's when I first started filling my eyebrows. That's good. And the NYX eyebrow pencils are good too. And there's one product I actually don't have on hand, and it's like a brow gel. I know NYX makes an eyebrow gel, and it comes in a tube and you can squeeze it out and just draw your eyebrows on. I've never personally used that. I feel like that's for somebody who has less brow hairs than I do, but I feel like it is a good product to probably try out, and maybe one day I'll own it. So I'm just gonna get started. This angled is pretty dirty. I had some mishaps earlier this morning, but it's this angled brush from Wet n Wild. And actually what I do is just get this, like a paper towel. I keep a roll at my makeup station and just wipe off the excess powder, but I like to pinch it. So I just take it and pinch it like that so it gets as flat as possible. Now I do have this makeup spoolie from a brush that I got a little while ago, and it's from E.L.F. Hold on one second. I actually just shaped them up with a razor and some tweezers earlier today. It was supposed to be part of a makeup tutorial, but it did not work out. I was chattering too much, so I decided to refilm it. And all I do is I dip my brush in my pomade a little bit, and then I'll start filling them in. So what I like to do is I like to start, as you can see, I have a slight arch in my eyebrows, and right now I'm not drawing them too overdrawn. I usually used to, but I've steered away from that. I like to kind of start down, like where my eyebrow hairs go, and stroke up. I don't do little strokes. I do pretty big ones, and I curve it up just like my tail is, and I bring it back down. So they say the key into filling eyebrows is using 3 points: the inner corner of your eyes, and then you start at your nose, so the inner corner of your eyes, and then you can tilt your brush, and where your iris is, that'll be your arch, and then where your eye ends, that should be your tail. So your eyebrow should end right here. That'll give you a good general shape of your eyebrow tip I like to give out. And so you can see that the eyebrow has a line up there, and I take, with no additional product, where my eyebrow starts up here, and just let the brush follow the natural curve of my eyebrows and meet it up to that line down there. Now I will go back in if I lose some product and back into my pomade and stroke some hair. Well, not hair, but just stroke the product in. I don't go for a natural brow just because I can't master that actually right now with the pomade. So I just actually fill it dark in, well, fill my eyebrows dark, just because I personally like that. And I go pretty high with it Now my eyebrows do look super intense. This eyebrow I tend to draw on a lot. I don't know why I do that. It's a force of habit, I guess. But I'll go back in with no additional product after I fill all that in. I'm satisfied with that. And finish drawing the line out to the edge of my eyebrow. So now I have a good, you can see a good line down there. And I don't add any to the top. But what I will do is take my brush, which is at an angle, and flick the leftover product like this. Always keeping it at an angle, never going to the top of my brow like that. I went a little too far, and you might think that is harsh. What I'm gonna do is go back in with the spoolie and brush the product out. And you get a good brush, you can wiggle it in there. And in my opinion, that is a good brow so far. Because after I finish with this eyebrow, and I'll go my eyebrow powder.
I'm not going to talk, and I'm just going to go do my other eyebrow.
Okay, honestly, all I was doing is rambling at this point, trying to say that eyebrows are not supposed to be twin sisters, etc. As long as they have the same arch and are about the same length, then that's good enough. So what I'm going to do again is doing that same thing, cleaning off my brush with any additional product if there was left over, pinching it to get a nice point, and then I'm going to dip into my eyebrow palette that I was showing you earlier, and I'm going to shade right here, and I'm going to put it towards the tail of my eyebrows. So I dip in there a little bit, and I just swipe it into the tail. Now what this is doing is adding more color, because I do use the deep brown for my eyebrows, so it's not dark, and it kind of gives that gradient ombre effect I do like in my eyebrows as of recently, because we're just wearing the Dipbrow alone and the eyebrow gel I used. I've seen that it was kind of fading over time. It wasn't staying as popping as I like it. But when I use it with the not the eyeshadow. Okay, at this point I started rambling on about how you can use eyeshadow as an eyebrow powder. They're literally the same. I don't see any difference between that and actual eyeshadow. If you already have eyeshadow with neutral browns in it, you can use it as eyeshadow color. Just make sure to match your undertone. So if you have a cool undertone in your hair, use cool browns. If you have a warm undertone, maybe use warmer colors for your eyebrows. That was all I was simply trying to say. But anyways, back to what I was saying. It just adds more definition to it, I feel like, and it makes it last a little bit more longer. So I'm going to go back in with my napkin, pinch the black off, and then I'm going to go into the palette again, and I think I'm going to get this color right here, which is a nice warm tone brown, and I'm going to just add that to the parts where I didn't add the black. I actually never use the waxes in this palette, so I can't tell you how they work. Maybe one day I'll try it out. And I'm actually just gonna bring it down there, and actually not bring it to the top, because I guess I like that Sharpie Instagram brow where it's lighter up here. But the only reason I like it where it's kind of faded right here, because if this all was dark, it'll make me look like I'm scrunching my face up like this and going like I'm angry, which I don't want to go for that look. I just don't think it's flattering on me personally. That's why I do my eyebrows like this. And just making sure any piece I covered with that Anastasia Dipbrow gets covered with that powder. So I'll go back in with my spoolie and just brush the powder in. This kind of sets the pomade too. Even though the pomade does dry down, this basically, if there was any tackiness left, sets that powder. And I just go through and brush it out. Now that they're brushed out, this is what they look like. I am not complete. I have like 2 more steps. But now I get my concealer. I use the LA Girl Pro Concealer in Toffee. And then I just get this E.L.F. concealer brush. It doesn't matter. It's rounded though. It's got hair on it. But as you can see, it is rounded. I like that better than an angled brush. I just dropped my top. So I just get actually, I might do it this way. Yeah. I just take it like this. And make sure it's on my brow. And I just start blending upwards. I put it lower instead of exactly underneath my brow to give me room to blend. And so it's not so much product directly underneath my brow. And as you can see, there's a little bit of hair that is left out from when I do this, and that's fine because we're going to cover it up with concealer. And concealer gives you that nice crisp line if you want it. If you want to go for a more natural brow, I suggest you not carve out your eyebrow. But if you want them sharp eyebrows, I suggest you do some. And all I'm doing is going to pick up a little bit of concealer and carve out the top. And this, you can see why I like the rounded brush better than an angled brush, because it just is more a softer approach, and I feel like it personally is easier to use. And I just make that tail really crisp. And I go back and just finish carving out my brow. And if you want to just blend this in, depending if you're not gonna wear any makeup or not, I carve my brows out with a concealer. That's my skin tone, because it don't want to use that, give it that halo effect. You see people have like that lighter concealer over their eyebrows. If that's what you want to go for, then you do it. But I personally do not like that, so I carve mine out with a skin tone concealer and just blend that out. And when I was actually carving this one out, I made a mistake and got some of that concealer in my eyebrows. So all you gotta do is go back in with that darker color and bam. Let me show you a comparison so you can see the difference between a brow that's not carved out yet and a brow that's carved out. It looks more clean, it looks more precise, and we're still not finished yet, so it's only gonna get better. Alright, so at this point I just fast forwarded so it'll speed through a little bit faster. All I'm doing is repeating the same thing I did to my first eyebrow to my second eyebrow. I'll go and carve it out with concealer, and if I feel like I took away too much with the concealer, I'll go in with my powder. You want to do this step before you put the gel on, because when you put the gel on, it's harder to add on powder on top of the gel. So I like to make sure all my powder and my pomade steps are done while I'm concealing my brows and shaping them before I put my gel. Alright, there's my eyebrows, both carved out with concealer. This one's a little bit thicker on the tail than this one, but that is Okay, so my next and yes, my final step of this very complicated eyebrow tutorial is to go in with my eyebrow gel and comb through my brows. Now what this step does is like the final step. If you don't use powder, this, well, you can still use powder, but this sets the actual eyebrow hairs in place. Mine kind of will go anywhere and everywhere, but if you want your eyebrows to stick to your face, get you a good eyebrow gel. And all I'm doing, and this actually adds dimension to it, gives, you can actually see the hairs when you do this, so it makes it look more realistic. And I just comb them the natural way my eyebrow hairs will go. So brush them some like this, and then over here, when I get to the front, I use a lighter pressure and I comb these up. Alright, that gives a little bit more fluffiness and realness to it. And as you can see, since I faded it, it doesn't look as harsh as this one does now. So I'm going to dip back into my product. Okay, at this point, I repeated the same process I did on the first eyebrow. I'm just going in with the eyebrow gel and brushing it through my eyebrows. I took this clip out, but what I was saying was you can actually use a mascara in this step if you don't have eyebrow gel. Just make sure it's not black, because black will be too harsh. You can either get a brown mascara or a clear gel mascara. They both work equally the same way. That is actually it for this tutorial. I'll see y'all in the next video.